Issue RN, but welcome back to this final fight. So who's competing, Chris?
It's a British heavyweight title bout. Toby Slowby White. This is Cameron Hurtlocker Little. Two experienced chess boxers, two big men, and two very handy chess players as well, it has to be said. So this, I think, promises to be the most quality action of the night on both disciplines.
Yeah, I think so. I think they should be hopefully quite evenly matched. Toby, a very experienced chess boxer. Cameron really coming into his own recently. I've seen him compete in the gym. He's very fit. He's a very useful chess player. And I think both sides have got a real chance of collecting this vacant title.
Absolutely, and both similar levels of experience. So Toby, this will be his fifth fight. He has a 2-2 record going into this. Fourth fight for Cameron, he has a 2-1 record. And Cameron reminds me a little bit of Matt Crazy Arms Reed, who we saw earlier. You see what I mean? Once you see physically, he's the same, tall, rangy. He's coming at 94 kilos, so quite heavy for this fight as well.
So my assumption is he'll pack even more of a punch than Crazy Arms does.
Absolutely, and an interesting fact as well, Cameron Hurtlocker Little gets his name from being a former bomb disposal expert.
Well, I mean, certainly working for the Ordnance Survey, yeah, I think it's something, it's an impressive string to his bow, should we say.
I mean, chessboxing-wise, it shows that he will certainly be calm under pressure. He can handle defusing bombs. I'm sure you can handle defusing a tricky position on the chessboard, or indeed in the ring.
Yeah, so I think we're in for one heck of a fight. I'm very, very excited. And there will be a new champion today. The belt had previously been vacated by Tim the Hippo Woolgar. So one of these guys is going to go home with something new.
Tim Woolgar, of course, the founder of chessboxing in the UK, started about 10 years ago. For those who are interested how on earth this came about, Tim, I believe, was on a stag do in Berlin, happened to stumble across this. Thought it would work in the UK and worked tirelessly over the last 10 or so years to establish it and get it to the point where it is now.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's time for our championship bouts. Oh, it's so exciting. It's so exciting. So, the first fighter to join us in the ring now can be summed up with two characteristics. One, he's a software engineer. Meh. And two, he's single. I know, right? He challenges you to name a more iconic duo, eh? He once held the nickname 2 Second Toby. He says, was it A, for his ability to imbibe a pint of Guinness, or B, his prowess as a ladies' man? Guinness? Ladies' man? Guinness? Guinness? We'll ask him. So, let's make some noise. In the red corner, weighing 87 kilograms, standing at 187 centimeters, Toby Slowby White! Toby Slowby White! Yes! So, the next fighter to join Toby Slowby in the ring received his nickname doing his previous job, which was dealing with unexploded ordnance bombs. Yeah, don't mess with this guy. He's feeling fit. He's feeling ready for some action. Boom, boom, in the blue corner, weighing 94 kilograms, standing at 199 centimeters. Make some big noise for Cameron Hurt Locker Little! Make some more noise for Cameron Hurt Locker Little! Yes! And let's hear it one more time for the British heavyweight title fight! Good luck, guys! Have a great bout!
Stare down here across the board there between the two. Neither of them wanted to bat an eyelid first. You can see the intensity behind this title belt as they take their seats.
But there was a great moment though. Sort of Cameron raised his fists whilst looking at his opponent with a big smile on his face. I think this is going to be a really competitive match played in a great spirit.
Yeah, I think they both know that they're good practitioners of both the arts here. They know that they're in for a challenge. It should be a very even match, I would say here.
My prediction, though, is I think Cameron's extra chess ability, coupled with his height, will provide just those little edges in both disciplines.
And the chess is off. E4, E5.
Okay, so knight f3, knight to c6, knight to c3. Oh dear, is this another Steve Davis opening? Bishop to c5, d3, d3 by Slowby. Okay, so his bishop is hemmed in by pawns, but it can be fianchettoed, sorry for the Italian, on the g2 square, enabling this sort of double-edged King's Indian position. Oh, bishop e3. Bishop e3, this is a combative move. He's saying, I'm going to go for an unusual position against you, and I'm just going to outplay you from there.
Yeah, this is really not a very theoretical opening that White has played. He's trying to catch his opponent unawares here.
Yeah, bishop e2, bishop e3. This is kind of, he's putting his pieces on semi-sensible squares, but we've yet to see a semblance of a plan. I think the critical stage will be when Toby has castled his king, moved his queen forward a square, and then he has to ask, what now?
It's not the most aggressive opening from White. So White, you have the advantage of the first move. He's making a very safety. Oh, he's moved the piece again. That's a little bit strange, man.
Yeah, I think the pressure of the occasion, that big shiny belt in the offing is getting to both players. Slightly tentative start, but he's attacking a bit. Oh, he's moved it back. He's moved it back. Thought we were on for a quick key change there, but no, as you were. G5! Oh my goodness me! He's opening up the squares in front of his king, but he's being very aggressive at the same time, isn't he, Chris?
Opening up the squares, but he's taking a lot of space. So those two pawn advances, that means that he's controlling a bit more of the board. So on the one hand, it's quite loosening. On the other hand, it's taking a little bit more control. And I think he has the right to do that, given that Toby was playing quite passively.
I think that's a very astute point. Black has castled queenside, so the space disadvantage on the king's side doesn't matter. What he's going to do is he's going to push his pawns down the board, assuming White castles kingside, and he might come up with an attack.
So you're saying casting there, so that was the move where Cameron switched his king and is getting his king into the corner.
Heads up, Chris! Black's won a pawn!
The first material loss there. Yep, Cameron taking control of the position here.
Not only that, but he's threatening to do knight takes bishop, crippling Black's kingside pawns, crippling his dark squares, and it's already looking very dicey for Slowby. Hurt Locker in the ascendancy.
If I was Toby, I would be playing to my name and playing very slowly and carefully here. It's looking a bit dangerous.
Yeah, I think White is lacking a plan here. He needs to take a little bit of time, as you say. Oh, and he's done it. Knight takes bishop. It's a lovely move. It's a lovely, lovely positional move. You look at White's king. It's stuck in the middle of the board. It's not going to have a huge amount of fun if it moves 2 squares to the right and castles. It's not going to have a lot of fun in the center of the board, and it's going to take him a bit of time to castle queenside. So he may be in trouble.
Having said that, Toby's lining up something of his own. So he's got the knight pinned. He's got the knight pinned against the queen. It can't move because of the bishop. So he could potentially, well, maybe not now. Now there's a bit of danger. Cameron's threatening to uncover an attack on the king. This is dangerous.
Yeah, one of the most aggressive ideas in chess is a discovered check, whereby if he moves the bishop, the rook will then be attacking the king, and he can move his bishop to a really aggressive square. But what White has done is he's created his own threat. He's threatening to take the queen on the next move, so whatever discovered attack he comes up with, that threat will still have to be dealt with.
Yeah, what I would do here maybe is play bishop to d5. Yeah, okay, maybe not there, but he's uncovered the check, so Toby has to move his king now.
I think bishop c4 is not a bad idea. The king is going to have to move onto a decidedly dodgy square, and that's the bell! Exciting start, but it's all down to the boxing now.
Yeah, you're right there, actually. I was positionally, I was quite liking the look of bishop d5, but bishop c4 controls that f1 square. And it's going to force the king to go somewhere quite awkward. Would he go to f2 or d2 here?
I mean, instinctively, f2 feels better, assuming that the pin can't be the pin of the knight. I mean, on d4, which can't move because the king would be on the f2 square. Assuming that there's no advantage to be had there, but then maybe king f2, rook e2 is strong. The king has to go back to g1, and it's looking really dicey.
Yeah, although you could then maybe tuck it on the h2 square in front of the rook. Make something of advantage of that slightly odd-looking pawn on g3.
The other thing to consider, of course, Chris, which I hadn't realised, is after king f2, you're still threatening the queen. So Black will have to take a bit of time to deal with that threat, and maybe he's got a chance of unravelling. But I'm not liking White's position here at all. The king is looking very drafty.
And Cameron absolutely on top. I think taking advantage of the slightly passive play from Toby to really seize control of the position first. That h6 g5 lashing out on the king's side, then castling aggressively on the other side, and then opening up an attack on the still central king. So Toby's going to have to come out strong here, I would say.
Both sides squaring up to each other. Ronaldo, the ref, just giving them a few words of advice prior to beginning.
I'm intrigued to see how you can see Toby's the more muscular of the two, Cameron the more rangy. And it's going to be very interesting to see who can impose their game plan on the other here. I've seen Toby before, and actually I remember that he's really quite aggressive from the off. Ready timeout. Ronaldo doesn't like something there. Didn't like the height of the belt. Fair enough. Off we go again. So I think Toby's going to come up. Yep, you can see that he's immediately coming out quite aggressively, trying to close the distance.
Toby's looking like a very, very accomplished boxer. Like the sort of the speed of those jabs is just so quick, just so much strength behind it.
Yeah, but Cameron's also in good shape, and you can see that he's pumping out that jab himself. So I don't think he's going to be overwhelmed by this.
No, I think it's a fair point, actually, and like given that Cameron's doing rather well in the chess, it might be that this is a round for him to consolidate in the boxing, see how his opponent's game plan is, and then sort of maybe be a bit more circumspect.
Yeah, I mean, we're not sort of talking, I would say, unless Toby makes another horrendous mistake about him probably losing in the next round, but there's a certain degree of danger there that means Cameron is going to have a lot of chances to finish this off fairly quickly unless Toby can somehow consolidate the chess position. So that's why you're seeing a premium on Toby taking an offensive stance in the boxing, pouring out that jab. He's looking for the big right. There you go. Just a couple of poured out jabs to find the range, and then big right to the body. That's what he's looking for. Again and again, he's not really looking for an attack to the head. It's just the straight right to the body.
So one thing that strikes me as someone who doesn't know a huge amount about boxing is how sort of upright Cameron is. He's looking very, very unflustered, and I'm guessing that he's got quite a strong centre of gravity, which he can use to his advantage.
Yeah, he looks pretty solid in there. I mean, he's maybe taking a few more than he's giving out, but he's... Oh, a little bit of showboating there from Cameron, inviting his opponent on. It's a sign of the confidence that he's got there. Yeah, big overhand right. Cameron really not fazed by that though.
Both boxers just feeling each other out now. I think, like, how will you be feeling if you're Toby? Do you think this will be a sort of a positive step forward or not quite enough?
I think he's burning himself out a bit, a little bit like we saw in the last fight. He came on very strong in the first round, and I think he's just not gassing, but he's just taking a little bit of a break towards the end of the round. I don't think we're going to see anything too dramatic now as we go into the chess.
No, critical, as Chris mentioned, a critical stage in the game as well. I think given White's open king and the fact actually that Black still has his queen on pre as well, there's definitely the possibility of one of them coming out and making a horrendous mistake, and that includes Black, who has a good position.
Yeah, you can be on top, but just somehow miss an obvious move and suddenly your piece is gone. But yeah, Toby's pick up the pace again after a breather there in the boxing. Good to see some respect shown between the two of them there. A tap of the gloves at the end of the round. Hard but fair. Now we go back towards the chess. And let's take a little bit close look at the position again. So Cameron's unveiled this attack on Toby's king with bishop c4. So you've got the rook on e8, give it a check, and then you have both that bishop on c4 and then the other bishop on b6. So again, the two bishops, it's been a bit of the theme of the evening there, combining well to control the position. But there's one thing that Toby does have. There is a threat to Black's queen once his king's out of check.
And that gives him time, which is a hugely important commodity here. I think this next move is critical for White, and neither king to d2 nor king to f2 seem like hugely palatable options, but if he can just survive for a few moves, consolidate his position, he'll be a pawn down, his pieces will be that little bit worse, but it won't be over, and that would then put the pressure on Cameron to defend in the next boxing round.
The more I look at this, the more I quite like king d2, king c1. Okay, it looks a little bit odd with the rook on a1, but it looks like it might be a bit safer staying out the way of that bishop on b6. You can then maybe, if you do develop, look to push that a pawn, start to generate a few threats against Black's king. I quite like that plan.
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree. I think if White can play c3 and king c2, then he might be doing okay. And we're off again. So the last move was bishop c4, which was a discovered attack. A check against White's king. White has to be really careful now. He's got two plausible options. He can move his king diagonally one way, he can move it diagonally the other way. And we think that one of the options might be just that little bit better.
So yeah, looking at it in between rounds, we think he might want to shift his king to the left and then, so up to that square in front and then back one and tuck it behind a pawn. But it's looking quite exposed, White's king, at the moment. He has to be very, very careful here.
Yes, an important commodity that White has is the time that will be gained from having to deal with that threat of the bishop on c6 hitting the queen on d7. That may just give White enough time to get his king into a semi-safe position, and I think if he can somehow play king to d2, maybe c3, king c2, he might just about be getting away with this, but objectively his position is not very nice, and I think Black will be quite happy here.
There's some moves happening. I don't think we're seeing it on the we are seeing it on the electronic board. So yeah, it's been an exchange on c6, and the queen has taken the bishop.
Oh, and he's playing a legal move. He's played an illegal move. So we're gonna have to readjust here as White's plan to get his king into safety has already been. Apologies, we're back. We are back, ladies and gentlemen. And suddenly, Black has got a lovely position. Oh my word! Black has a huge threat here. Rook, he's played it! He's played the move, and this is already looking absolutely devastating for White. That's a real sucker punch. The king drops back into c1. He's material down. His position is in absolute tatters, and the name of the game is just survive to the boxing round and come out swinging.
Yep, Toby does. He just needs to not move quickly here. He's going to. Yeah, you need to go slower, drag this out, have another round of boxing.
Can the queen take on f3? No. Well, it's a moot point now because he's taken. Knight takes. This is looking really, really grim. So if you're black, you just want to take a little bit of time, try to come up with that idea that is going to bring the game to a very, very swift conclusion. Queen e4 looks like a strong idea. Rook e2 is a very good move. That's a really, really astute plan. Bringing his rook into the game, haranguing the pawn on c2. He's controlling all of the key squares in white's position, and white is in deep trouble now.
Yep, black just swarming all over Toby's position here. That king looks like it's in a lot of trouble. All black's pieces very active. Look at all the white pieces. They're all there on the first rank, not doing very much. No activity whatsoever.
So what does white do here? I mean, the bishop is under threat, and the bishop has to defend the rook on e3. Perhaps just literally just drop our bishop to e3 is a nice move. That's a nice idea. It doesn't matter if your piece is attacked, if you can force a check, because that puts your opponent in a forcing position. The king now must move either to b2 or to b1. The position looks really, really grim for white, but I think he will survive to the next round.
Yeah, he's going to get through here. So that king looks a bit safer now, tucked behind a pawn. Okay, that's a clever move by Cameron. He's ignoring the attack bishop, and he's making sure that white can't take it. If he takes the bishop with the pawn, that's illegal because his king is then in check.
Yeah, I suppose, I mean, maybe a move like knight to d3 here might be a kind of pragmatic option. It threatens the rook, making black having to make a quick decision. If the rook takes on g2, that's kind of fine because you get your queen into the game with queen to f3, and you can at least start creating threats of your own. It's imperative for black to start getting his pieces out. And he's played rook to c1, he's given up a rook, and he's taken it! He's taken the rook, and this is looking bad. This is looking really, really bad now. But I think he'll survive, and he has. He has survived! And white has got a big, big job on his hands here.
So Toby getting through that round, but at the cost of a whole rook at the end. So materially down, positionally zero activity. His king's looking a little bit drafty. So I think Toby now knows that he can't get through the next round on chess. He'll be having to come out swinging really quite wildly here if he's to have any chance of taking that belt.
Yeah, absolutely. I think whether white can survive another round remains to be seen, but the game is gone. The game is absolutely gone. His queen has got no inroads into black's position here. He needs it to land somewhere vaguely pointing towards black's king. And to be honest, now that the rook is no longer under threat, the dream scenario of getting the queen to f5 isn't an issue either, because you just drop the bishop back.
Yep. It really trouble here, and it's all stemming from Toby neglecting his king safety. He was certainly very passive in the opening, which was fine. But what he didn't do was follow that up with just tucking his king into the corner. He left his king in the middle, and now he's paying because it's been chased from pillar to post, and it's going to be probably checkmated in the next round if it comes to that.
Yeah, so really imperative for Toby to just knock it out of the park here.
That's it. There's a certain amount of respect for Cameron, I think. He came out of the first round swinging wildly, but he caught a few of his own, and I think he's now being a little bit more cautious, trying to work his way in. You can see, again, the difference that the height disparity makes.
And I mean, in terms of, like, if you have to pick between height versus weight in terms of, and I know that's a how long's a piece of string kind of question, but which do you think generally gives you the greater advantage, the reach or the power?
It depends. It really depends on who can impose their advantage on the other. So if you can somehow find your way through that reach and make a little bit like that, you know, you just, okay, you might take a couple going in, but then you can unload on the other guy's body if you're the shorter fighter. So it depends on whether you can find a way in, which often will involve feinting, try and draw a punch out and then roll under that, come in, or you can just plow forward. But you absolutely have to shorten the distance, which Toby is doing to some extent here. He's just not landing anything that's hurting Cameron. He's landing good scoring punches, he's taking some, but he's not looking like stopping the man, which is what he has to do at this stage.
I mean, but in the kind of equivalent in chess, the chess position is like Toby has been knocked to the mat several times, and one or two more, and the ref is going to call it. And the disparity here, if there is any, is just not enough.
Yeah, I think they're two very evenly matched, and I think probably the best boxers that we've seen of the evening, and certainly the last fight before this was entertaining if a little wild, whereas here you can see that there's a little bit more technique on show. Certainly Cameron's educated jab, and Toby's work up close.
That's
a good left.
That is a good left.
Good left to the head from Toby. It's really the first success he's had to the head of this round.
I mean, it's a long way off, isn't it?
Yeah. Having fought a couple of taller men in the past, it's just hard to land. You want to kind of attack to the body first, maybe draw the head down, and then wing that overhand right or the left hook. You can see, that's what I was talking about, the overhand right. So you could see that was sort of a windmilling type punch that you sometimes have to do in order to connect with the taller man. But Cameron's just showing a good chin. He's taking anything that Dan's got to throw at him.
That was a really nice block there as well. That looked like it was going to be a quality punch.
Yeah, I mean, Toby, without shadow of a doubt, he's taking this round, but he needs to do more than take the round here. He needs to stop Cameron.
And that's it.
Yeah, I think a smile there from Toby towards Cameron. He knows what's coming. Gives him the friendly tap on the gloves. In congratulations as much as acknowledgement of that boxing round.
I mean, it's not 100% over. My feeling is, and I just at a glance, were Black to play something like Queen D4 check, followed by Queen to E4, White is practically in Zugzwang. It's very, very difficult for him to do anything. The knight will have to go to F3, at which point it's just tied down for the rest of the game. So Black can just play H5, and G4 to push the knight away, having first dropped his bishop back, and it's really, really hard to see Toby surviving a round unless he can come up with something pragmatic.
In normal circumstances, it would be game over, but having had a couple of rounds of boxing under your belt, it's not normal circumstances. And the one thing in Toby's favour, or his one chance, is the queens are on the board.
Yeah.
You know, if he can somehow work his queen towards Black's king, there's a chance of pulling out some flash checkmate or getting some kind of perpetual check type scenario here. So it's absolutely worth Toby taking his time.
Welcome back. Bishop to E6. So, having had a quick look at the position, we felt that maybe Queen to D4 check followed by something like Queen E4 would have tied White up in so many knots that he'd have surely just fallen flat on his face in no time. But Bishop E6 makes it that little bit trickier. White now has a move to try and just generate some sort of activity.
But what would he say the odds are on Toby getting through this round? Would he say he's likely to get through, or is checkmate more likely here?
If this were a pure game of chess, then Toby will have surely resigned by now. I think it's probably about 50-50 that he'll get through the round. But Black has a lot of tricks up his sleeve. He's a more experienced player. That extra rook is just such a phenomenal advantage. It's difficult to see White doing something creative here, so he's just got to get into grovel mode. I'd say 50-50, but okay, A5. Oh, he's lost the rook! Oh my word, a catastrophic blunder by the Hurt Locker. Oh no, what an absolute calamity. I mean, he's still doing better. Toby's certainly going to survive the round now. And you know what? He could just about win.
He just missed that, just a one-move blunder. He was on top the whole time and he just missed that one simple move. That's what can happen after the boxing.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a critical passage of the game, and Toby showed that just extra experience recovering from a boxing match to play the right moves necessary to force a mistake. Now, White is a pawn down, but he's still got the queen on the board. Black no longer has this incredible rook. What does Black do here? He's got to recover. He's got to treat it like a new game. Play a move like Queen D4. Take advantage of the fact that the king is open. Play Queen D4 and Bishop F5 and try to force some sort of decisive attack.
He's got the better position, and look at the clock times. He's got 6 minutes there compared to Toby's 3.5 minutes. So he's got the time. He just needs to stop reconsider the position fresh and come up. There you go, queen d4 check, just like you said.
Yeah, queen d4 check is a really, really good move. The king is extremely drafty. Now, I quite like the idea of playing... Oh, f5 is a good move. Oh, wait, no, hang on, the bishop's hanging! He's lost another piece! Oh, no, it's catastrophic! The tables have completely turned. It was that Cameron had the game sewn up, but he's blundered not one, but 2 pieces, and now he's the one in the losing position.
Absolute disaster. He's gone from clearly winning to probably winning to clearly losing within the space of about a minute. What is going on?
And white can force the exchange of queens here as well. King here, queen a4 is probably a technically winning ending, but maybe that wasn't the best move. Maybe that's not pragmatically the best move. So this is winning for white, but white can only win the game if he can force a pawn to the end of the board. Black's pawns, he's down on material. White has got 6. Okay, h5, yeah, as someone to my right said, this is indeed very interesting. Black is going to force a pass pawn. Knight to f3 is a good move stopping that, but if Black can mop up the pawns on the a file, force a few of his pawns forward, my God, this game has got so many twists and turns.
Yeah, so Toby's got the extra knight, but Black Cameron has those 2 extra pawns. He just pushed another one there. So the knight's going to have to look after that pawn there on g4 and stop it. Oh, no, Cameron's lost one of the... Oh, no.
Oh, no! Oh, no, is that promoting? That bishop, it's promoting! He can't do anything to stop it! Or can he? No, he can. Knight c4 to e3. Yes. What a move, what a spot by Toby. It was the only move. He found the only move to win the game.
That was an insane round of chess. We went there from Cameron clearly winning. You know, we were talking about him mopping it up within a minute or so. He then lost a rook, and we said, okay, it's fine, he'll take his time. He's 1 pawn up. He's got the attack still. White's king is drafty. And then what he did, he lost the bishop from nowhere. And then we thought, okay, that's it, it's over. And then suddenly, things looked like they were swinging around again in the endgame. We thought that Cameron was going to use his extra pawns to outweigh the knight. We thought that he'd managed to distract the knight away from the pawns. And Toby, right at the end, found this killer move, knight c4, that allowed him to reroute that knight back towards the pawn and stop it from queening. But what happens now? I don't know what happens now.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. So Black has definitely got some drawing chances here because the knight is going to be tied down to the defense of the g2 square to stop the promotion, and he can't force the pawn off the board. So effectively that pawn will be tying down that knight, and if the king moves over to support it, then Black can then mop up the a pawns, after which it's going to be... We'll need to analyse this position a little bit. My instinct is this is going to end in a draw.
It looks drawn, but let's see how the boxing goes, because the last round, certainly Toby came out with a strong effort. How are they going to recover psychologically from that chess? They'll put it out of your mind and go straight back to the boxing. Which is what they're both doing. It's a little bit more cagey now.
I mean, Cameron has got to adjust to this new mentality. It'll be fascinating to see how he approaches it this round.
So, a point of the rules as well now is if it ends in a draw, then it's the boxing that decides, and that's going to be on points, and that's not too easy to call at the moment. So I think.
But it's presumably, if you're Cameron, you've probably thought it doesn't matter how many points I give up because I'm just going to win the chess.
Yeah. So suddenly there's really a lot more riding on the boxing. Yeah. So what we could end up with, again that big overhand right. So that's really what Toby's looking for. That big bowling, windmilling right over the top. Now looking for the headshot as much as the body. But yeah, if the chess finishes the draw, then we'll have another round of boxing after that, and then we'll go to the referee Ronaldo's scorecard for the boxing to decide it. So really intriguing. Intriguing possibilities here. Oh, good left hook there from Cameron. He picked off Toby as he was coming in. It went a little bit unnoticed, but that was a nice little check left hook.
Both sides looking absolutely exhausted, but really, really going for it here.
Or good, lead left hook. So Cameron's having some success with that in this round that he wasn't having earlier. He's just timing Toby a bit as he comes in. So if you look, just look at that left hand, just look for him turning it over and catching Toby on the head.
It doesn't look as if we'll be getting a knockout this round, does it? So that next round of chess is suddenly looking extremely critical. If the chess ends in a draw, who do you think's got the edge in the boxing?
I would say I had Toby up by 1 round before this. But this is Cameron's round so far. He's really having a lot of success as Toby is coming in. So Toby's work might be the stuff the crowd is noticing, but Cameron's doing some good technical work here that I think Ronaldo, referee, as an experienced amateur, is certainly going to be picking up on. Yes, certainly, it looks like it's taken out. So that looks spectacular, but Cameron caught that one on the arms. It was a big punch, but Cameron mostly blocked that one. I think the exhaustion here must be coming as much from the chest. I mean, that's been... They've both been winning and losing within the space of a couple of minutes. What about this one is? So the way, looking at this in between rounds, I can see this unfolding, is that knight does swing around to e3. Black moves his king up to a5 to attack the pawn. King goes to b3 to defend it, and then c4, check, distracting the king away. Black mops up the 8 pawns, white mops up the b pawn.
I think that particular line is a draw. That particular line is a draw. So the other, I'm trying to work out as well. If the black king goes to c6, then knight e5 to f3 is also a possibility. Albeit I don't think it makes a huge difference. I think this is going to end in a draw because if the white a pawns come off, assuming black isn't promoting, then king and knight versus king is a dead draw, and then we'll go to a round of boxing.
Yeah. Having said that. We think it's probably a draw. We saw in the last round just how easy it is to make a mistake, and really anything could happen here.
Yeah, particularly it's important that White may not have seen the move, knight to e3. If he hasn't, then it's game over.
Absolutely.
In Black's favour, I should say.
Yeah.
And we're back, ladies and gentlemen. An absolutely critical stage of the game. White found the only move that kept him in the game. But we think this could be heading for a draw. Sorry, I've had a couple more moves. The knight came to e3. The king has gone to a5. King back to b3. Now, c4 isn't a possibility because the knight is covering that square and could hop back. So, what about b5? If you play b5 in this position, you swap off a pair of... Oh, no, that's not a good move. That's not a good move at all. That was unnecessary by Cameron. That was a really, really key pull in his position. The fact that he was holding the knight back to the defense of that square, and now the knight can swing back into the game. But crucially, ladies and gentlemen, if black can force those A pawns off the board, the game is a draw, but I think this is going to be a win for White now. Oh, he's played b5. He's played b5. The crucial thing here, ladies and gentlemen, is king, pawn, and knight versus king is a win for White, which would mean that Toby, with the white pieces, would win the game, assuming he could keep his time in check, and he is running very low indeed. Oh no, Cameron's given up. He's given up another pawn. Knight takes. Now he's got to take the pawn on a4, but this is winning for White. This is winning for White. He can capture the pawn with the knight, he can swing it into c3, play knight takes a4, and then he just has to move his pawn up the board using his king and his knight, and he'll win. But there are two things, ladies and gentlemen. Firstly, Toby is about to run out of time. He's only got a minute to do this. Secondly, there's probably going to be another round of boxing.
Yeah, this is a very technical task for Toby, and he's going to have to do it, as you say, with 1 minute left. So he can't take his time to work this out. He's just got to move.
Yeah, and knight to f5 didn't look like the right move here. It's slightly slow. Oh, okay. Oh no! This is a draw! This is a draw! King to c7 is a drawn position. It's a theoretical draw. It's going to go down to the boxing. Cameron is too experienced a player to know how not to defend this. This is just a draw. This is a dead draw, ladies and gentlemen. Even if Toby were to lose on time, because black doesn't have any pieces, the game will be declared drawn, and it's going to go down to the boxing.
Yep, so Toby has one extra pawn, but this is well known as being a technical. There's no way you can win this one. There you go.
And it's stalemate! It's stalemate!
It's a draw, it's stalemate. It's all on the boxing.
That was an exciting game.
I mean, that was almost as exciting as the round before. Both players, you can see, just sat there, conducting the post-mortem, trying to work out. Well, actually, no, they're asking what the rules are, but I think they're also trying to work out what on earth happened there. So it looked like Cameron, he hadn't played that as well as he should have done. He just let that key asset in his position, the f-pawn, just let it go. And then Toby had what we thought was really a technically won position. But then he lost the knight, and we're in this,
So what? Cameron played a few slightly dodgy moves. He had what looked like a dead drawn, well, not a dead drawn position. He had a theoretically drawn ending, I think. He played this move G2, which wasn't necessary, giving up this advantage he had holding the knight back to the G2 square. After that, I think that was winning for white, but Cameron came up with a nice trick at the end, forcing the knight off, and Toby, I suspect, thought that pawn was going to win it for him, but Cameron knew differently.
Yeah, it requires a bit. The end game phase requires a lot of technical knowledge, a knowledge about certain positions that are or are not possible to win. And if anything, I find it the hardest phase of the game to play, Matt. There are fewer pieces on the board, but you have to be very, very precise, which is almost impossible to do in a chess boxing scenario. Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, in the end game, even though you've got fewer pieces on the board, it requires more calculation because lines are more forcing, and you've got to play it really, really accurately. In this scenario, it's all going to come down to experience, and I think both sides, had they been more experienced chess players, I think it would have gone differently, but ultimately, as the game ebbed and flowed, Cameron knowing that was a drawn ending was the critical thing.
But I mean, for Toby to even be in that situation when a couple of rounds ago we were writing his position off, it just shows how quickly things can change.
And it was instantly after the boxing as well. Cameron was obviously discombobulated, and he missed that his rook was hanging on e2. He missed that his bishop was hanging on e6, even as he played what looked like a really good move. So yeah, I mean, are we down to just one round now?
So yeah, this will be the last round. I think Ronaldo is, what he does in this situation is he lets them know. He's letting them know the score there. So he's showing them the scorecard so they know what they have to do.
But we don't know the score. The audience don't know the score, either here or at home. What would be your guess?
It's really very level. So I think I had Toby one up. I think the first round, probably a tie. We could give it either way. I had Toby getting the second, and then I had Cameron the third. I think Cameron was doing some good technical work that Ronaldo would have picked up on. But I think the clue here is going to be how they come out. If you see one of them coming out really aggressively, then you know they're the one who needs around. It could be level. It could be everything to play for. You can see with the instructions that it's not decided. You can see they're both really in a lot of discussion with their cornermen about what they have to do.
Really positive body language by both parties as well. Just suggests, as you say, that it is all to play for.
Yep. I mean, what happens if it's a draw? It could feasibly be a draw on the boxing as well as the chess, which I've never seen before. This would be unprecedented. So Cameron's coming out quite aggressively there. A little bit more active than he is at the beginning of most other rounds. A couple of 1-2s, throwing the left hook. But Toby looks like he knows that he needs to find his way in as well here. They're both just going to have to pour everything in knowing that this is the last round. Good work from Cameron with the double jab.
Would you describe Cameron more of a chess player or a boxer in terms of his stronger strength?
He's a very good chess player who's I've run into him in tournaments. He's rising up through the ranks. But boxing-wise, he's quite a handful. Not just with that physique, but he has quite an orthodox technique as well. So you can see he's got a good stance. He pumps out the jab. He's got the basics very well. So he's really an all-rounder, and that's what means he's going to have a strong future in this sport. I would love to see him fight Matt Reed, who I think is very similar in terms of both physique and being an all-rounder. But for now, we need to focus on this because everything to play for, and I think Cameron looks on top to me in this round. What do you think, Matt?
I was very, very much an amateur in this. I agree with your assessment, but the fact that no one was coming out sort of so aggressively that would suggest that it was very uneven in terms of points. Oh, okay, this looks like a critical moment. But Cameron's got the hug in, he's got the hug in, which presumably means he survived the worst.
Yeah, so I think it means that he knows that he's on top so far in this round. I think Toby's got... there's a cut there on Toby. You can see a cut over his right eye.
And what's the significance from a points perspective and from a boxing perspective overall, him like having blood drawn?
If it were earlier in the fight, there's a danger that the ref would stop it. However, given it's the last round, he's going to let it go on. And it impacts your vision. So if it starts bleeding into the eye, and I don't think it is, I think it's on the outside of the eye, but it's physical evidence of certainly what I've been seeing this round, which is that Cameron is on top. So he's recovering quite well from the kind of swings in the chest. Toby looks like he's a little bit gassed at this point.
Yeah, Cameron once again with the defensive stance that would suggest, as you said, that he's happy to consolidate, and maybe he thinks he's done enough.
Yeah, good work in the first minute of the round. I think we're coming towards the end of it now, and just Toby looks like he isn't quite able to dig deep. He's got the will, but he's just not able to summon the energy for the attack that I think he needs to mount here. Good right landed there by Cameron as Toby was coming in. I think Cameron's boxed really well here.
And it's over. That's a great. You love to see that.
Mutual respect there. I think they know full well that they put on some great entertainment for the crowd here. I thought that one or the other is winning on both disciplines at multiple points. This has been the beauty of chess boxing for me. The swings, the wild misfortunes, theoretical draws, technical endgame work. It's had the lot. It's something for everyone.
It has been an absolutely fantastic evening, and now to cap it off, we come down to a boxing decision. We do get more games decided by the chess, so these are very much moments to cherish. I think this is going to be absolutely tremendous, and I know that whoever isn't successful tonight will come back stronger and will definitely be a contender for this belt in the future.
Yeah, both have a long future in this sport, and I think there could even be a draw. There could even be a draw, a shared belt.
Wow!
I would not write that off.
So as you may have gathered, the chess was a draw, a stalemate. So it went to the boxing. So we're going to leave it to our five-man Ronaldo to announce the British heavyweight chess boxing champion is Cameron Hurtlocker Little! Give it up for the Hurtlocker!
Yep, so
and let's give Toby Slowby White a huge round of applause. What an epic bout of chess boxing.
Wise after the event. There's some certain boos from the crowd.
Yes! So, here's your belt, sir.
His work impresses the crowd.
Let's put it on. Let's put it on and give us a 12. Hurtlocker!
Cameron is going to be thrilled with that. That is a massive moment for this young man. Real rising star of the London chess boxing scene. His chess is only getting better. It looks like his boxing's only getting better too.
He's beaming there. He is delighted as he should be.
So, our final bout of the evening is for a a title. Ooh. And the title is, oh, there's the belt. Hold it up so we can see. Oh, it's shiny. Look at that. And the title, I really can't speak anymore. Heavyweight champion. World Light Heavyweight Champion. There we go. Exciting times. So let's tell you a little bit about the first fighter that's going to join us. Now, he is still single, he says. So that's the first thing he wanted you to know. He's still single. He's also the current holder of the Brexit belt. Who was here for the Brexit belt? Yeah. During that bout, he won the belt after hitting a UKIP MEP so hard, his whole party collapsed. So let's see what he can do tonight. He said, like his party of choice, the Lib Dems, he predicts he shall almost certainly come third in the contest of two. Let's make some noise and bring him out in the red corner, weighing 87 kilograms, standing at 187 centimeters, Toby Slowby White! Toby's got a pretty even record, 2 wins, 2 losses. His ELO is 1400. Let's see who he's up against. Joining him in the ring is a chess boxer who learnt to play chess on Skid Row in LA. Oh, I know. He's so confident about his chess abilities that he's been known to do press-ups between chess moves. Now, we need to see that, don't we? Yes, we do. Let's bring him out in the blue corner, weighing 89 kilograms, standing at 182 centimeters, Karl. Yeah, let's not forget those viewers on Twitch. That's right. Now, Karl's record is pretty good. It looks like he's undefeated with 7 wins under his belt. This is going to be an amazing bout for a title. Give it up for both our fighters!
The man, the myth, the legend, here tonight. What is the scale of the task facing Toby White this evening?
Yeah, I mean, this looks... Put it this way, Karl Ouch, aka Karl Strugnell, is legitimately one of the strongest chess players in the UK. He's a FIDE master, he has a hatful of international master norms. You know, he is really good at chess, really, really good, and a decent boxer, like a really decent boxer too. And that's the bell.
So Matt, just how good is Karl Ouch at chess?
So Karl Ouch is legitimately one of the strongest chess players in the UK, and I, for one, am slightly awed to be in his presence. I can barely commentate on what he does. Everything is so transcendently good. I mean, bishop b5, bishop a4, all these moves just composed of such a rare beauty. Bishop b3. This is the Spanish opening, or the Ruy Lopez, named after a legendary Spanish priest. It's all theory so far. It's all very, very good. Toby White, bishop c5 is the Archangel variation, I believe. c3 hoping to play d4. I mean, Karl is just playing on memory here. Knight takes e4, knight takes e4, and now d4. Really high quality stuff. White gives up a pawn, but with the king still in the center, the rook can come to e1. The e5 pawn is in a bit of trouble. So actually, black needs to play very accurately here. And given Toby's less experience, I'm a little bit worried for him at this stage. I would have played something a little bit more circumspect, like, you know, a hippo or a modern or some such. And oh, yeah, it's already looking very, very challenging. F5. Oh, knight g5 is a good move. Knight g5 is a very good move.
I mean, I'm just impressed by Toby taking on this level of challenge. I mean, this is a very, very strong player who he's facing here. So, frankly, I think the crowd should be getting behind him at every opportunity here.
That is quality stuff from the crowd, but oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, ladies and gentlemen. Queen h5. Karl Strugnell has used 18 seconds on the clock. I think it's due for a press-up. Are we going to get a press-up, Karl? I mean, he can't hear me, obviously, but, you know, I like to think that we're simpatico. He's known for doing press-ups in between moves. We can but hope. G6, queen takes h7. Oh, God, this is, this is horrible. This is horrible. Toby White has just come up against a better player, and I really, really hope he lasts at least one boxing round, because that f7 square looks horrendous. Absolutely horrendous.
He's got it covered by the rook, though, so yes, terrible position, but there's chance to survive here.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right, Chris. As long as Toby can defend, and queen e7 is a good practical move, vacating the d8 square for the king.
Yeah, I think we're going to get some boxing action coming up. That's what we want to see.
Knight f7, knight f7. Oh, that's a good move. But you guys want to see some boxing, right?
You've got to take that off, I think. You have to take that knight.
Yeah, and he's done it. It's a good practical solution by Toby. He is completely lost. He's completely lost here, but it's going to take Karl a bit of time. Bishop g5 is a threat here, winning material. Queen g8 is a good move. Yeah, Bishop g5 is going to play. Played f3. F3 also an excellent move. Far be it from me to criticise Karl out. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
If I was Toby, I'd be playing the Finnish gambit and just having a good long think here.
Yeah, I think this is. I mean, I think if black can play, I mean, in an ideal world, Queen h4 will be possible here. I think g3 is possible. Oh, he's moved his rook.
If you touch it, you've got to move it.
Yeah,
don't just go touching it like that.
That is the rule. That is the rule. We take this very seriously, ladies and gentlemen. Chess boxing being the archetypal professional sport. If you touch a piece, you must move it, and I think he's going to have to. And then that knight drops off the board, which makes black's task harder.
Now, there might have been something interesting with bishop takes h2, Matt. Does that offer anything?
That's the bell. Yeah, bishop takes h2. My word, was bishop takes h2 a resource? Bishop takes h2, king
takes h2, queen h4. Yeah, then the king goes back. But I think then the queen f2 check. But of course, you don't have to take the bishop.
Yeah, I think the crucial thing you have to do is after bishop takes h2, you have to kind of say mea culpa, play king to h1, then after knight takes g3, because the queen wouldn't be hitting the e1 square. Maybe you can then play queen takes h2, queen h4 check, king g1, queen h1 check, king to f2, and you might be holding on there. But yeah, bishop takes h2. Actually, yeah, black had an opportunity there, and you know, there was us thinking that it was game over.
And it shows that even the great Karl Ouch can, if you do take your eyes off the board, as it were, you can leave yourself open to a counterpunch in the most overwhelming of positions.
Yeah, I think in these games against really top quality opposition, you have to seize your chances whenever you can, and that might be Toby Slowby White's only opportunity in this game.
you almost don't want to point it out to him afterwards, I think, because that's the kind of move that, if it was me, I would be kicking myself afterwards. What a chance against the legend Karl to have an opportunity like that.
And actually, after King H1, Queen H4 would have threatened Knight G3, so maybe that would have been it.
So let's see how Toby is in the box. So Karl, a well-built man, definitely. We talked up his chess ability, but he is no slouch in the ring. Two big lads, and of course, the more you go up in the weight classes, this goes up heavyweight, the more power and the more power for a stoppage. And Toby is certainly coming out like a man possessed who knows that he has to fire off in this round.
Yeah, I think. Toby absolutely spot on with his tactics here, and Karl has not had a great start to the fight, has he? Like Toby got some good hits in there.
He has shipped a couple of powerful rights to the face, and Toby is certainly demonstrating that he is a strong boxer, and he looks in mean shape, I have to say.
Yeah, that is not a man who. I mean, if Toby weren't such a lovely, gentle guy, he would be absolutely terrifying. As it is, he's doing a cracking job. He's got his tactics spot on. You don't know that he's going to survive one more round of chess. He might, but he needs to get his blows in while he can.
Had he moved, though, at the end of the round, or was Bishop Lich still there, or was it before the end?
It was such a flurry. I don't know. I think the knight went off. I have a feeling that it's no longer possible. But we'll check. Once the board is back, we will check and we'll provide some up-to-date analysis once the boxing's over.
Because if it is still there, that would be really quite an amazing blow.
It really would. It really would. And absolutely astonishing. I mean, of course, I think Karl would have the opportunity to bail out in a repetition, if nothing else, with King takes Queen, Queen H4, King G1, takes on E1, and then repeat on H2 and G1, and then, Karl's not lost at that point, but that's certainly given his chess advantage, not what he would want, particularly with white pieces.
And given how the boxing is going as well, with Toby definitely on top, so it would then be down to the boxers. Arrows unloading a combination, and the referee said, I think Karl might be taking... an 8 count there in the corner. A standing 8 count administered by referee Ronaldo. I'm sure that he was concerned enough about Karl to need to give him the enforced break.
Yeah, the sort of good intervention by Ronaldo there. Karl is he's not had a great round. He's just looking a bit off the pace.
And still 45 seconds left, so Toby has a chance to force a stoppage here.
Okay, yeah, this is genuinely super competitive now. Toby is so far ahead in the boxing, right? This looks like, it's almost comparable to the chess.
It's the joy of the sport. Oh, and a huge right hand, Karl tumbling back into, and the uppercut.
This is looking. Karl really needs to do whatever he can to stop any more big blows coming in.
Ronaldo is really having a close look. They're having a mince at the standing 8. This is remarkable effort from Toby. Yeah, really unleashing here.
Yeah, good. Okay, only 10 seconds to go, and I think Karl should survive this, but what impact will it have on his chess?
I think, yeah.
That's a bad one. Karl needed it. Karl really needed it. A big smile on his face. He knows that he dodged a bit of a bullet there.
A bloodied face there for Karl. That was really a Herculean effort. And Toby Slowby white there. But I take my elfish hat off to him for that.
Your hat and your ears and all. Yeah, Toby, he may call himself Slowby, but there was nothing slouchy or sloth-like about his fighting there. That was a quality performance, really, really high quality.
Cornerman Mike Botley having to wipe the blood from Karl Ouch's mouth. That was, for me, and having talked up the last boxing between the Finn and the Russian, for me that was the round of the night in terms of pugilistic action.
Yeah, one of the most enjoyable rounds of boxing I have ever seen in my time commentating on it, particularly given the situation in the chess. It is really all to play for now. It's so exciting. And if you have any friends who have not yet tuned in, please, we're still live on Twitch at twitch.tv/LondonChessboxing. You can follow us on Instagram on London_chessboxing, and our Twitter handle is LDN, all capitals, chessboxing with a capital C. And we're about to come back.
Thank you, Matt. Certainly some excellent content to look forward to there. Now, we were just talking. Was there still a remarkable possibility on the board?
So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, it may shock you to hear that.
Oh, he's played it!
Oh, and he's played. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, we completely missed this move. Now, King H1 was forced. If the king had taken the bishop. Oh no! But he's missed at the knight. No, that doesn't work. It doesn't work.
He should have played the queen first. He had a remarkable resource there.
But then Queen G8 would have been checkmate. Then Queen G8 would have been checkmate. And Karl must have seen that. If he'd taken the bishop, which looked like a gift, then the queen would have come into H4 check. The king would have had to move back. The rook would have been taken. The king would have moved back. And we'd have had a draw by repetition. And then it would have gone to the boxing where black would have surely won. But as it is, black must have thought that he had a win here. But now, white's threatening checkmate. Black's attack is dying out. It could be over. Can he play knight h3? I don't know. Oh, no! Queen is checkmate! He's got a checkmate!
No, he's given up his queen!
It's a queen
that is a lovely finish.
Win.
A queen sacrifice.
Beautiful win.
That is remarkable. He didn't. That is a queen sack.
What a game of chess!
That is the class of the man, Karl Ouch, giving the crowd a queen sacrifice there. I mean, I would be showering the board with gold coins had I any in my elf costume.
Oh, you wonderful man, Karl Strugnell. What a glorious end to a wonderful night of chess boxing. That was just spectacular. He saw that he had to move the king back to h1. Toby took his chance with bishop takes h2, but he didn't have the follow-up. And actually, I think the threat of queen g8.
Exactly.
That was the key thing. So
really
bishop takes h2 didn't work, but it was a great try.
It's really beautiful.
I mean,
as
expected, out shoots further than this.
By checkmate!
Not just anywhere, checkmate.
Keep the noise going! And give it up for both fighters! Let's grab a few words with our winner, Karl. Anything to say about your new shiny belt?
Can I permit myself a pun?
A pun? Of course you can. We like a pun, don't we?
Slowby it. It's good,
Slowby it.
Slowby it.
I mean, what do you think of that pun? Yeah, give him a cheer, he's the winner! And Toby, Slowby, let's bring it around to you. How you feeling? Any words?
Tired, gutted. I feel like I did exactly what he wants me to do.
Well, you think that was his master plan all along?
Just, yeah. Survive one round of boxing, so he likes to be hit. And
how you hit him hard.
I'm actually smiling right now, look at that. He clearly enjoyed it.
Give it up for both our fighters. That was your title belt of the night. Go say bye to the crowd, guys. Lap up this applause. Go take a walk around the ring. Go say, the crowd are clapping you. Come on, give them some love. Give them some love. Exit the ring. And you're going to pose a bit more beautiful. It's really heavy, that belt, but you can use it as a mirror. You can. It's to hide the fat, so he says. What fat? Anyway, we want to thank you all for coming tonight. Have you had a good night? Yeah! Can I hear one more time from the chessboxing virgins in the room? Have you had a good night? Yeah! It's been our pleasure to have you, and to everyone at home, we hope you've enjoyed following us on Twitch. I've got a few big thank yous to make. We want to say a massive thanks to Dylan Goldsmiths, our graphics designer, Christopher Patterson and staff at Protocol Sports Marketing for the amazing graphics. Also, we are back next year for our St. Patrick's Day Bash. on the 14th of March 2020. Stick it in your diaries. We're going to be at the Dome. And if you need a chess boxing fix in the meantime, there's a podcast. Yeah, ooh, yeah, thank you. The Chess Boxing Podcast, follow that on all your usual channels. The website is londonchessboxing.com, and on Twitter we're at LDN Chessboxing, and Insta London_chessboxing. There is an after party at Aces and Eights, which is opposite the venue. Come have a drink with us, enjoy yourselves, and I think that's it for the... Oh, and I've got to thank the people from the Dome, Aaron Soft and his amazing team, all the tech staff, all the production team, our sponsor, Windsor Actual Consultants, and last but not least, let's give it up one more time for all our amazing chess boxers tonight. Yes! Some of them for the first time in the ring. You saw some punches, you heard some puns. I hope you had a good time. We'll see you in the new year. Have a good evening. Thank you very much.
To those words from Gemma, our host there, other than to say it has been one of the highest quality chess boxing evenings. We've seen a KO, we've seen a queen sack in the last game of the night.
Yeah.
It's had everything.
I mean, that last game, the chess, the boxing, the chess again, was simply spectacular. I'm so glad there was a belt on offer there, because that was a real testament to how exciting this can be. We'll be back on the 14th of March 2020. I think we need to thank again Dylan Goldsmith, Christopher Patterson, everyone at Protocol Sports Marketing, Windsor Actuarial Consultants, everyone here at the Dome, the tech guys, everything's been fantastic, and I hope you've enjoyed it watching at home as well.
Absolutely. So to everyone who's been watching on Twitch, the last thank you of the night goes to you. Do tune in again, send a link to your friends for next time. Hopefully we'll have just as high a quality stand events and everything to see. Twitch.tv/London Chess Boxing.
Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next time.